Hello, welcome to Granada Reports, live with the latest across the northwest.
Hello, many thanks for joining us on the programme this evening.
Human remains are found in the search for missing Lancashire teenager Jay Slater in Tenerife. We'll have the latest as police release footage from a ravine where the discovery was made.
Meeting for the first time, brought together by senseless acts of violence. Jane and Matthew are determined to see glass bottles banned in late-night clubs and bars.
And I think all the best stories start with, wouldn't it be great if? Wouldn't it be great if you had a car that could fly? Wouldn't it be great if you were invisible?
He's the new Children's Laureate, and now Frank Cottrell Boyce is fighting for all children to have access to books.
From the highest of highs to the deepest despair, we find
a lot of optimistic players.
And in the weather since Swithin's Day, so what we had weather-wise today, we're supposed to have for the next 40 days and 40 nights, if only to be sunny all the way. The details coming up.
First, human remains have been discovered in Tenerife, near where Jay Slater was last seen.
the teenager from Oswaldtwistle went missing almost a month ago now. Police on the island say evidence suggests he could have died because of an accidental fall.
The discovery comes just a day after Jay's mother, Debbie, spoke of her family's desperation for news.
Well, our correspondent Andy Bonner, who's covered the story in Tenerife for us, joins us now. Andy, it looks like the saddest of ends to this case.
Yeah, sadly it does, Lucy, and it was the news that Jay's family and friends would have been dreading, of course. After nearly a month of searching, they must have known that the chances of a positive outcome were slim in this. The discovery was made by the Spanish authorities a full 2 weeks after they said they'd called off a full search of the area. What we've learned today is that that search did continue, albeit discreetly and out of the media spotlight. Now, they've given us a video of the area where the remains were discovered. And if you look at this, it looks like this is some way down one of the ravines that surround the mountainside village of Masca, which supports their initial theory today that he had an accident or a fall. I was there just a few weeks ago, and that location where Jay's phone last pinged is a large, steep area with plenty of undergrowth, which may explain why, despite the use of helicopters and drones, this discovery has taken weeks. But I've been speaking to Cleo O'Flynn, who is a local journalist on the island, and she told me that some people have actually been missing there for years.
It is not beyond the bounds of possibility that a body could lay undiscovered, that someone will fall down a very steep ravine, and whether they are injured, they might not be heard. It's a very sad situation, of course, but it can happen, and it has happened in the past. And now we know that somebody has lost their life.
Of course, you can only imagine what the last month must have been like for Jay's family. In fact, only this morning did a search team from the Netherlands arrive on the island to help out, funded by part of a £54,000 fundraising amount that has been raised for his family. That fund and the whole circumstances surrounding Jay's disappearance were the subject of many conspiracies online from the very beginning, and of course today's outcome appears to put paid to that speculation. LBT Global have been helping out Jay's family. The charity said this afternoon a body found in Tenerife does look to be that of Jay Slater. It is understood the body was found close to the site of his mobile phone's last location. Although formal identification is yet to be carried out, the body was found with Mr. Slater's possessions and clothes. A post-mortem and forensic inquiries will follow. LBT Global are supporting the family at this distressing time. Well, we're expecting a post-mortem result within the week. Jay's family and friends must now start to come to terms with this development, but they do so in the knowledge that this final chapter of this story was likely already written before this story had even begun.
OK, Andy, thank you very much.
Well, our reporter Jennifer Buck is in Jay's hometown of Oswaldtwistle tonight. Jennifer, this news will hit especially hard there.
That's right, Lucy. There's just a real sense of sadness here in the village this evening. Now, the church here in Oswald quickly became a focal point for the community as soon as Jay went missing, and the blue ribbons that you can see tied here on the church, they've been here nearly a month as a show of support and of hope for Jay and for his family. But it seems like tonight that hope has been all but dashed. Now, of course, Jay had links throughout this community. He went to college just down the road. He was working as an apprentice bricklayer for a local company. Now, his former head teacher at his old school has released a statement today, and that says, "We hope this tragic discovery will not only dispel any rumours, but allow the family to return with their son and afford them the dignity of private grief and mourning." Well, as the community comes to terms with today's news from Tenerife, the church will again become a focal point and will open its doors to offer support. I was speaking to the minister here at the church earlier on today, and he has passed on his condolences to Jay's family and to his friends. And he says the church will open for a time tomorrow for the community to simply come together.
Jennifer, thank you.
Well, next night, the two families joining forces in a bid to have glass bottles banned from bars and nightclubs.
Jane Sheriff's husband, Phil, was murdered 12 years ago in a bottle attack. She campaigned for a move to plastic bottles, but without success.
Well, now she's come together with Matthew Cyron in the hope of forcing the new government to make night spots safer, as Mel Barham reports.
Jane's husband Phil had been at a corporate event in London when he was attacked by a complete stranger, stabbed in the neck with a broken bottle. The man responsible, Ashley Charles, was jailed for his murder. In the months that followed, Jane began a campaign to ban glass bottles from late-night pubs and clubs, and a petition with more than 110,000 signatures was taken to Parliament. But the law was never changed. Fast forward 12 years and Matthew's story has chilling similarities. Attacked with a glass bottle on a night out last Christmas, he's now lost most of the sight in both eyes. When Jane heard Matthew had started his own petition to ban glass from late night venues, she reached out. They've now joined forces, determined to prevent others from going through the same heartbreak.
Well, today, Jane and Matthew met for the very first time here in our studio. Jane began by telling Mel why she decided to join forces with Matthew and restart the campaign.
I think it was just disappointment that we're still here and we're still fighting for this after 12 years. It's like, come on, it's not rocket science. All we need to do to make late night clubs safer is to take those weapons away from those drunk people.
And was there that element of guilt for you that, you know, you'd started this campaign, you'd done your best to do this, and then here is somebody who has now been injured because that law hadn't changed?
It wasn't a guilt thing. I don't feel guilty about it. It's not my fault, but I do feel like I failed and that I felt like I was close. We had got a lot of momentum back in 2012, 2013. But obviously I was only 6 months, it was only 6-7 months after my husband had been killed. I had other things to worry about. So it wasn't a guilt thing, but I felt like there was a failure and I feel like I'd like to succeed this time.
Matthew, just tell us a bit about your story, about what happened to you.
Yeah, basically I was in a bar in Leeds and a guy came up behind me with a pint glass and from behind and smashed it in my face, falling to the ground with me and pushing it into my face and leaving me instantly blind in both eyes.
And despite having to go through all of that, you've somehow found the strength to actually start campaigning to ban glass bottles.
Yeah, I think that this can't happen. I don't want this to ever happen to someone again. It's sickening what's happened to me and my family. It's changed my life and my family's life. It's soul destroying, if I'm totally honest, and I'd never want anyone to sit in these shoes that I'm currently sat in, and if I can do something about it, I'm gonna. So
Matthew, tell us a bit more about your petition.
Currently the petition's got 14,000 signatures. The petition is to make mandatory ID checks and ban glass from nightclubs and bars.
And these ID checks are something that happen routinely in Australia where you live?
That's right. They scan your driving licence, it goes into a little machine, and that machine, every nightclub around that area, they've got the same one, so you scan your ID. If it does kick off in the building and you are banned from there, you get banned from everywhere. It's a weapon that can easily be used, and it is killing people each year, and it needs to stop. People can't be trusted who are drunk, on drugs. Yeah, it's crazy to have them weapons easily accessible. Around the world they do it, do you know what I mean? We do it here in sporting events.
I think environmentally, I think things have moved on in the 12 years, and we're not talking about single-use plastics anymore, but we're talking about things like we're drinking out of, the polycarbonate glasses, you know, that feel like glass, and your drink still stays cool, but it's just safer to use.
And obviously there will be pushback to this. How do you convince people that this is a change worth making?
Everyone I speak to, everyone wants the change, do you know what I mean? There's obviously people pushing back on social media saying stuff like, oh, we shouldn't ban glass, people like drinking out of glass, but we're on about, you can go to the pub still, I'm not on about that, we're on about the nightclubs and bars that very highly intoxicated people are drinking, and then they're getting rowdy and smashing glasses in people's face. It needs to stop.
So what do you think you can achieve together now with this?
I think if we can change things at local level, rather than a big change centrally, might be the way forward. Certainly getting Labour MPs on side, which we had last time, would be really important. The Conservative government were against any changes. So now that we have a Labour government, I'd like to see if we've still got Labour MPs on side.
I don't want to see anyone sat in my shoes ever again. Do you know what I mean? And it's a simple change. Get rid of the glass and this won't happen. And yeah, it needs to change. I can't imagine anyone I love or know to go through what I'm going through. It's tough to take.
Yeah, thanks to Matthew and Jane for talking to Mel there. Well, still to come on the programme.
We dared to dream, and once again it didn't come home, but the future is bright for our footballing stars.
And in the weather, Janet Packham is bringing us sunshine, even if the forecast isn't. Well, not so much so anyway. All the details coming up shortly.
Now, when was the last time you saw a child curled up with a book?
Well, likely to be curled up with a phone these days. Well, there's a call tonight for books and reading to be given a much higher priority. It comes from the new Children's Laureate. He is the brilliant novelist and screenwriter Frank Cottrell Boyce. He's from Liverpool, and he's taken on the role, which includes promoting children's literature.
Yeah, he says he wants to use his position to help stop children in poverty being left behind. Across the country, just 2 in 5 children say they enjoy reading in their free time. This is the lowest level in 19 years.
Fewer than 3 in 10 are reading daily.
And only 1 in 5 is regularly reading with their family.
So our reporter Victoria Grimes went to meet Frank at a school in Liverpool.
So I'm going to read you a little bit from a book called Millions, and that's the story of 2 little boys who find a bag full of money. And I think all the best stories start with, wouldn't it be great if? Wouldn't it be great if you had a car that could fly? Wouldn't it be great if you were invisible?
For Frank, Trinity School in Vauxhall represents the voices of the future.
So we'd spent £100 already out on the playground. Other people came up to us with stuff they brought in from home. There was a Game Boy, some goggles that helped you see in the dark.
But also his own past. It's where he grew up, an area which still suffers deprivation today. And the lasting effect on its children makes our newest laureate really angry.
It makes me furious because we know what a difference it makes to these lives around here. We're not talking about giving everyone some new piece of technology or anything. It's just guiding people towards a book. We've been doing it for centuries, and we just seem to be leaving so many children behind at the moment.
It's something teachers like Vicky Shutt are trying hard to change, with reading time built into the school day for those who may not get it at home. But with limited funds, it's a struggle.
This area is classed as a deprived area, and children don't always have access to reading books. So we've made reading a priority at the Trinity. Some parents can't read, some parents have difficulties reading, so I've been holding workshops as well for parents so that they can relay that love of reading across to their children as well.
Children are also encouraged to put down their devices and instead swap storybooks. Their teachers scours charity shops to give them more choice. And it's paid off.
And when you've got a bit of time, you can just get a book and start reading.
What does that feel like when you can do that, Max?
I just feel dead calm. I feel happy.
Giving Max and his friends a chance to dream of a better future.
I really got into novels because at first when we got into year 2, we were doing this novel, and then Miss Shuck gave me one, and she said, you can try and read one of them novels, and that's how I really got into novels.
And what do you want to be when you're older?
I want to be an author.
I think everyone should be able to read, because if you don't know how to read, you don't really know how to do anything.
Do I make the titles up? Yeah, I find that really hard. Do you find it hard to make up titles? The most shocking stat of all is like nearly 50% of kids are not read to before school. Reading to your kids is an act of love. Yeah. And those kids who've been read to really know they've been loved. Yeah. There is great work being done all over the place. And if we can share that work, then all kids get that chance, not just the kids who happen to be in a school with a brilliant head or a brilliant literacy lead. I want to make it to government. The door I want to be knocking on is the door of number 10.
What would be your message to the new Prime Minister?
Everyone should have equal books and everyone should know how to read.
Instead of sitting there and not giving no one no money, I think you should give the money to the schools so you can buy new books and the kids know how to read then.
If we don't achieve it, we're going to blow a whole generation. We're going to leave them completely at the mercy of all the fuss and noise of the digital world and all the stress that kids are under now. We have the ability to take that off them and to offer them something wholesome and good and empowering. And if we don't do it, who are we? Afterwards, we had extra helpings of chocolate pudding, a tenner.
Victoria Grimes, ITV News, Liverpool.
Yeah, very wise words from Frank and from those children, weren't they? Brilliant. Now then, let's join Gamal to hear what's coming up on the evening news tonight.
Coming up, Donald Trump arrives at the Republican National Convention, vowing to bring the country together. President Biden has called for calm after an assassination attempt on the former president. Police find a body in Tenerife in the search for missing teenager Jay Slater. Plus, the dream is over. The Three Lions head home after their Euros defeat. But what's next for Gareth Southgate? Join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Thanks, Gamal. Well, we don't want to dwell too much on England's defeat to Spain in the Euros, but as we saw there, the players are now back home.
Yes, we'd all allowed ourselves to believe that football might just be coming home too, but once again, it ends in disappointment, and that 58-year wait for the men's team to win a major tournament goes on.
Yeah, let's look at some of the positives, though. It is an England squad with outstanding young players, many of them from the Northwest, and of course they'll dust themselves down and go again with the World Cup just 2 years away.
Chris Hall reports on a night of high drama for fans across the region.
They took us on quite the journey. But they've returned without the one piece of luggage we all wanted. And the tag, back-to-back runners-up, is one they'd rather tear off.
Well, we got to another final, there's positives to take, but everyone wanted to go one step further and remember this feeling and hopefully push on and try and win.
It makes me proud, but that makes it even more of a reason why he should have been on from the start. Every game he's been involved in, he's changed the game. Look at the goal he just scored, the pub erupted. That's what he does.
Become very, very reliable. I think he's matured as a person and as a goalkeeper, and I think he can be very proud of the way he's performed this tournament.
Across the Northwest, for one glorious moment, it was a night for arena screamers and barroom ballers. While in mosques, their prayers were answered. 16,000 fans packed into Manchester's AO Arena. That's 6,000 more than England's ticket allocation in Berlin. Their voices carried almost as far. But that passion petered out.
Gutted. I thought because of previous games,
gone 1-0 down. I thought when Cole Palmer equalised, that's it, we're going for the win.
Is that the positive to take from this? There are players like Cole Palmer that are going to be in this team for years.
Yeah, I mean,
We've been here before, haven't we?
Yeah.
Do you have any confidence that one day soon we could win a final?
Yeah, 100%.
If you keep pushing, nothing can stop us.
A young squad, and we've got a lot of optimistic players.
Yay, we're England!
For the World Cup, are we going to get someone else? We're going to keep with him, but we'll see. Yeah.
It's an all too familiar feeling for England fans, isn't it? It's not just like the final of 3 years ago. It's like all those semi-finals from 2018, 96, 1990, all those golden generations. It's been too long between drinks for England fans, and that's why they all leave here tonight feeling as flat as the leftover beers.
Whose old club, Cheadle and Gatley Juniors, they remain excited for England's future.
Oh, very proud to have all them from this area.
Cheadle and Gatley club, yeah, good feeder club to the world.
Yeah, it just makes you really believe and have confidence in yourself that you can make it to the top level.
They've started off at a small club. If they can do it, we can do it, so yeah.
That's a message the fledgling government is keen to amplify.
The game has grown enormously in recent years. Girls and boys increasingly wanting to participate in grassroots football, but too often the pitches aren't there, the facilities aren't there. We will make it a priority to make that available in every community, but also that will give greater powers to local clubs to be able to take ownership of those facilities.
The last remaining member of England's last champion team says only investing in youth will revive the glory of '66.
It starts at grassroots level, and the National Lottery investing, 400 million into the game. So that investment's important. But overall, 2 Euros finals, the semi-final of the World Cup, it's just been very good under Gareth Southgate.
From grassroots to glass-filled floors, one thing England haven't lost yet is hope. Chris Hall, ITV News.
Next time, Lucy, next time.
Yeah, we know what the hope does. There's always next time, though, you're right. OK, let's get on to the weather now. Here's Emma.
Mum, wet wipes, toilet or bin?
Bin. Why?
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello there, very good evening to you. Hope you've had a great day. Hope you had a super weekend in spite of the result. This morning it was a lovely start to the week, a little bit of mist in places as forecast, but the sun soon got to work on that and burnt it off. And it's a shame it didn't stay like this because it's St Swithin's Day today. So what we get today we're supposed to have for the next 40 days and 40 nights, be it dry or wet weather. And rain is of course now inbound from the south, already working its way northwards. The only good thing about this is this old folklore has not been proven since records began in 1861. So a bit of everything today, probably a bit of everything for the next 40 days. Let's take a closer look then. You can see that this rain is pulsing northwards, always more focused to the south of the region. This warning for heavy rain in force until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. There could be some localised flooding in places. 15 to 20 millimetres of rainfall in less than an hour, falling widely, and in 1 or 2 spots there'll be twice that. Those temperatures are really very academic overnight tonight. So we swapped the sun hats for the sou'westers today and into tomorrow. It's looking a little bit better. The sun is up just past 5 in the morning, sets about 9:30 in the evening. And after a showery, wet start to the day with some mist and murk over the hills, which will be just lingering from the overnight period, that does all tend to clear away to the south and southeast. It'll leave us with brighter skies, but it'll spark a few more showers. The focus of those is actually going to be down the spine of the country, across the tops of the Pennines. Elsewhere, largely dry with some sunnier spells. This is the way things will be over the next few days. There'll be a brighter day and then a wetter day, then a brighter day, a wetter day. 18's a bit down on today's values, though. High pressure topples in for Wednesday, so a fine day, but more showery rain expected on Thursday and fine again Friday. Here's Pollen.
Cleaned up well.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello, summer. Piri sponsors ITV Pollen Count.
On then to the pollen report now, and the counts should fluctuate with the flip-flopping weather days, one fine, one showery, a fine one again, but should never reach very high because we're past the peaks now. That's it from me. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Emma. Before we go, Lucy has some news of her own to share with you all tonight.
You'll be dancing on tables right across the northwest when you hear this. After 36 years of presenting Granada Reports, I'm calling it a day. It is the best job in the world, with the best people in the best region, of course. It has been a complete honour and privilege to serve the people of the northwest. I want to thank everyone I've interviewed in that time, everyone who's put up with me at work, including you, Mike. And of course, I want to thank our lovely viewers for watching. We've been through a lot together, some of the happiest and saddest of times along the way, and I have really appreciated the support over the years.
Well done, Lucy. Well done. I don't know what you're trying to do to us. First England and now this. We're not ready for this, are we? But I know I speak on behalf of everybody watching at home tonight when I say we're absolutely gutted to hear this news. We love you. We will miss you. You are, quite simply, the best in the business. So thank you. It's been a privilege to have you in our homes every night.
I've got something in my eye now.
But this isn't goodbye, is it?
No, of course it's not goodbye. I'll still be here for a couple of weeks yet. My last programme is on the 1st of August.
That's a Thursday.
It is.
Plenty more shows to go yet.
Thanks for watching. Still upset about the football, you see. Good night.
Well,
I didn't say goodbye.